anything that you would have liked to have done differently against Manchester? It's obviously a really good team, but I don't think any coach ever says, "Well, they're too good. We couldn't have beaten them."
Yeah, I think first of all you have to give a lot of credit to Manchester. I think that they played very well and they played very consistently. I thought that was a big difference in the series, just the consistency of their play. We had a lot of times, and I thought points in the games or games where we played real well, but it wasn't consistent enough to beat a team that's as deep, if not deeper, than we were. And I thought that was probably the biggest thing when you look back in the series, where there's times where we played real well, but we didn't play well enough for long enough and consistently enough to beat a type of team like that.
There were a lot of guys. I mean, there was a lot of excitement over the roster at the end of the regular season and into the playoffs. Does this round of the playoffs, does it make you rethink anything about some of the guys that were maybe close to the NHL?
As far as,
do you ever think, well, you know what, maybe they do have a little while longer to go in terms of development?
Yeah, I think there's a process to go through. I think the fact that we didn't have success in this round as consistently enough, I think always is going to. You always have concerns about those with your players and just the level of consistency they need to be at. But I think when you look at the body of work that a lot of these guys have put in over the course of some of them 2 to 3 years, other guys maybe a year here, and then plus the playoffs. I think the most important thing when you look at the players is their body of work, their development trajectory, where is it at? And I'd say for most of the guys this year, although we had disappointing end result in the playoffs, a lot of positives. I think guys that we felt were ready are ready.
I'm going to ask you about a couple guys, like a guy like Kostopoulos. What do you expect his future to be? Would you like to have him back?
Yeah, we'd like to have Tommy back. I think he's been a tremendous role model for our players, and I think when you look at players that are going to be veteran guys like him, that you need to have that leadership and the mentorship, and he's a huge part of the culture. He's bought in as an older guy, and he makes it a great place for younger players to come in, and that's a huge component, and he's done that very well. But I think when you look at his play on the ice, he's an extremely competitive player. He's a very productive player for us. He can play multiple roles. So he was a big part of our team. He's a pleasure to coach and work with, and he's certainly a guy we'd like to have back.
Another guy who's hitting free agency is Farnham. I wonder if you could comment on how close do you think he is to being an NHL player, and would you like to see that be in Pittsburgh?
Yeah, he's Bobby's one of those guys. He's really progressed, and I think at this level he's been able to develop his game where he can do certain things here, but I think he's a more polished player now. So he's right there at the NHL level, and would we like to see him in Pittsburgh? Absolutely. I mean, he's been a guy that we've kind of been homegrown. He's developed here. He's been a big part of our culture. I think he's part of it, and he's an impact player. And now it's just having him be able to be as consistent as he was in the American Hockey League level. He's got to be able to find that and translate that into the National Hockey League. But when you look, is a player right to go up to the National Hockey League in their role? He is.
Yeah. When you look